Hello, and welcome to another edition of C.G.Radio, everybody. I am your host, Cable Guy. How is everybody today out there in Radio Land? I am well, as I hope you are. So, it's been a couple months since our last interview with Just Incredible, and true to my word, he is back for the follow-up. A lot has happened for both of us since then, and we intend to get into quite a bit. So, let's get Just Incredible on the horn. What's up, Just Incredible?
What is going on?
Not much. Thanks for coming back on the show. I appreciate it a lot.
My pleasure for being here, brother.
So, a lot has happened and transpired for both of us since we last spoke, but I'm just going to call the one elephant out in the room right now. I found a trailer online for a documentary coming up starring you. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I had an incident happen at a Blitzkrieg wrestling show where, I drank and I was in recovery, so I hadn't had anything in quite a while. And, just kind of cut a promo, tried to work with the kids like a work shoot, and they obviously didn't get it. The promoter didn't get it, so it turned into this big fiasco, but because of that little thing, Diamond Dallas Page called me with some friends of his who want to make a movie. So that's kind of, we're still in production. Things are still happening. It's just a very small piece of what the directors and the producers have gotten. So I'm really excited about it.
Great. So is this like the follow-up to the Jake the Snake movie he did?
Oh, no. It's something completely independent.
Okay.
And completely different as well. So,
okay.
I'm real curious to see the direction it takes. As you know, with documentaries, nothing's really scripted, and for the most part. So it's going to be very exciting.
Okay. So you mentioned you were doing the DDP yoga, and so my question is, how does that differ from, say, regular yoga?
What he uses with DDP yoga is he does this thing called dynamic resistance, which, for anybody listening now or even yourself, if you hold your hand out completely straight in front of you, spread your fingers wide, and flex pretty much every muscle of your body while breathing, in and out, of course, taking deep breaths, you really, and then with little movement, you get the simulation of training and working your muscles. So through what he calls dynamic resistance, flexing and stuff like that, old school calisthenics, and traditional yoga moves, really give a great fat, I sound like a commercial, but I do it myself, but, it gives you a really good cardio workout without heavy pressure on your joints like your knees, especially for guys like us, and weights, and really keeps you in phenomenal shape. So, I'm really stoked. Dallas and I, as a matter of fact, we talked to Dallas today about something completely unrelated. But, man, things are, I have a negative thing become a very positive thing, and I'm really, really fortunate and blessed.
Okay. So yeah, I noticed on your YouTube channel that you just recently accepted a challenge for somebody, and that's what prompted me to call you. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, right on. Yeah, I work for this promotion called Metroplex Wrestling out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
And I'm going to be going out there. I've worked for them before. I'm going to be going out there and doing a one-on-one match, which I haven't done since I've wrestled Tommy Dreamer in my retirement match. Because I still am really taking very little bookings. It's more or less just pay to play kind of. They pay me to play.
Right.
I do it for fun at my convenience. So yeah, I'm going to be going out to Dallas-Fort Worth, man. It's going to be really awesome. I'm looking forward to getting in the ring.
Okay.
Especially in good shape.
Okay. So all right. So now let's go back to when we were last talking about your back a few years in your career, where after we got off the phone, you told me about how at the time they tried to bring Alto Montoya back, the character, and Jake the Snake
Right.
was your manager.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. They're trying to get me over, and Jake had come in, and his wrestling days were behind him, so
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to use him and him being over so much of the fans
Mm-hmm.
kind of rub off on me a little bit, which was cool, man.
Okay.
We got to go all over the place with him on my, at ringside with me. Learned a ton from him. I got to work a bunch of 30 or 40 house show matches with Steve Austin before he got white hot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really, really cool learning experience, man. It was really awesome.
Okay. Now, here's another kind of random curveball question. Were you present for the fight between Buff Bagwell and Shane Helms at the training center during the invasion angle?
I wasn't. No, I haven't even heard about that one. Tell me, you tell me, brief me.
Okay, well, when during the invasion angle, when ECW and WCW were bought out by WWE, that both Shane Helms and Buff Bagwell have said how they were brought up to the training center in Connecticut because I guess the rings in WWE are like a few feet bigger than what you were using in ECW and WCW, and they started getting fresh with each other, and I guess Buff smacked Shane Helms, and then Shane Helms hit him with a water bottle, but it was frozen, so it's like hitting someone with a brick in the head, and then
Yeah.
and that ultimately led to Buff's firing from WWE, and I was curious if you were present for that.
Wow, I haven't heard that one, but I've Buff's been nothing but cool to me, but I've heard a lot of things about him that he's kind of a jerk in the behind the scenes area.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, Shane's a killer guy,
Mm-hmm.
sweet guy, one of the
Mm-hmm.
nicest guys, loves the business, respects the business.
Mm-hmm.
Shane's not that kind of guy, so good for Shane.
Oh yeah, this happened years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's funny. I never heard that one.
So now when I was listening to our previous interview, going over the notes, let's talk about when they brought you back for the ECW reboot, and you said they ended up letting you go because they noticed you were not there one evening. Now,
Well, yeah. Well, what had happened was they were jobbing me out to everybody. They had me on ECW exclusive house shows, working semi-main event with the Sandman. I wasn't making any money, and one day, I didn't have any gas to fill in to put in my gas tank, and I'm like, wait a minute, aren't I contracted by the WWE? I had a plane ticket waiting for me, and I was just like, that was an epiphany. So they let me off the hook on that one. Next week came, they no-showed again. I was just done. I mean, I was using at the time as well, but I attribute that to just the money was bad. Look, if the money was good and they're paying me, that's one thing.
right.
Money was bad, and I was doing jobs under the Just Incredible name, under the ECW legacy that we built.
Right.
So
right.
it just wasn't worth it,
Right. I see where you're coming from on that. Okay.
Right.
Now, let's talk about your stint in TNA. They seem to use you reasonably well there. Like I saw a few matches where you looked great in there. How come it didn't really work out with them? Was there just like nothing there for you, or were they just going in a different direction?
Similar to a lot of guys that go to TNA. You have good matches, and if you outshine the boss, which is Jeff Jarrett, you get heat for it. So I never did anything wrong. I just went out there, did the best I could.
Yeah.
And man, they just had no from an organizational standpoint, they had no idea what they were doing. So and I still don't think they do.
So the stories are true, huh? About how
certainly are, man.
How it's a little disorganized over there.
Big time, which is too bad.
Bad. Well, yeah, because it's the competition is what makes things better.
Of course, and also come negotiation time. just like with any major sport, free agency. So, it's a shame because nobody takes them seriously, and they have a national platform.
Right. I hear you. So, that being said, what would you say would make wrestling great again?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said that all being said, what would you say would make wrestling great again?
What they're doing now, man. What they're doing now is really, really good for the business with NXT, with all the indie promotions out there that really are putting on quality shows. God, there really is a lot of opportunity. What would make it great would be a viable promotion to compete and offer similar money to other guys. But until that happens, and I don't see it happening anytime in the near future, I don't see it.
I see. Okay, so now also going back over the previous notes from our past interview, that story you told me about how you and the British Bulldog shaved Mike Chioda's head in that bar at Wembley, and you said, because I'm going to be honest, I believe you that it happened, okay, and, a lot of people I've told that work in wrestling, they said they could believe that all day happening, but there are some doubters out there. By any chance, do you happen to have any photographic evidence of, because you said guys...
God, I don't, man, I don't, but so many, it was so out there, so I wasn't the only one with the picture, but, if you get a hold of some of the old school guys, they would be able to tell you the same thing, but I have I wish I did have the picture, that'd be fantastic.
And the dude never, see, here's the thing is that I saw videos of, Mike Chioda, going after fans who tried to jump in the ring, and he seemed like a reasonably tough guy. He never said anything to either of you after the fact.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's crazy. And another thing though, it's almost better that stuff like that does happen today. A little bit off your question, but I was just thinking about it because nowadays, man, somebody would end up getting sued horribly, but I digress. I just had to get that in there.
I agree with you. It's like if you did something like that today, that was often what we discussed is what the consequence would be today, and it's like you could be arrested for that these days.
You're breaking up on me a little bit there.
I said, well, that's the thing is that we were talking about what would happen today if someone did that to somebody. You could be arrested if you did something like that to someone these days.
I know. It's a shame. You guys are way too sensitive these days. I mean, the culture in all locker rooms, especially football, that kind of stuff happens all the time. It's the way of policing the locker room, which is, I don't know, I still think it's kind of cool because it keeps people in check to not get huge egos. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Guys today would be suing like crazy.
Oh yeah, and it's like I was at a boxing gym, and it's like, believe me, we used to do things to mess with each other, but nothing like that. But that's definitely took all of us to school on that. That's what I refer to now as the just incredible training in me. So
yeah,
do you have any other hilarious rib stories that may or may not have involved the British Bulldog? But could also include X-Pac, because I've heard he was pretty legendary at doing that.
Well, I don't remember much, but I do hear that there's rumor that, and I don't know if we went over this last time, but that he pooped in Sonny's bag.
I've read that in books, and I've heard him in interviews, and
yeah. That was always a good one, and just stuff like that, man, it was merciless, merciless riveting,
What about Owen Hart? I heard he was or Mr. Perfect.
Oh yeah, Owen was great. He would on all the overseas tours, he'd rib himself by staying up all night, and waiting till about 4 in the morning and calling each guy's room to see if they wanted breakfast room service. you know, and he'd go on and on. It was hilarious. And, you know, you'd figure people would know by then.
Right.
But, nope, not at all. Not at all. God bless him.
Right, yeah. Well, actually, that is a good one. I should probably save that for myself. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Now, now here's kind of a random question. What was your favorite state to work in, and why? And which was your least favorite state to work in? Because you've been all over.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite was probably New York. And people are going to say, "Wow, Philly," but New York. Something about the New York City crowds, and again, funny enough, Buffalo crowds were outstanding too.
Right.
To me, all New York crowds were good. Whether it's upstate New York, you know, Poughkeepsie, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, or right in Manhattan, New York had the best fans.
Okay.
Best fans.
All right. Yeah. That's true. Okay. So, did you ever have any encounters with JBL in your time in WWE? Because there's stories of him bullying other people around. Did you ever have any problems with that or no?
Not really. He was always cool to me. I knew him I was there before he was there. So him and I always got along. But I don't know if I told you this last time. I do remember though. One night he had to put me and X-Pac over, him and Farouk for a live SmackDown, and they weren't too happy about the little guys going over, and they beat the crap out of us.
Oh, really?
And and then they acted like there was nothing wrong. Like, did I do something wrong? He was like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, but you know, that's just how they were. That's how they were.
Okay, well, while on the topic of Bradshaw, you during the ECW One Night Stand incident where he shot on the Blue Meanie, you were obviously present for that, right? Justin?
Yeah, I lost you completely on that last question. Something about the One Night Stand with Blue Meanie?
Yeah, where JBL shot on him. You were present for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. I was there, but I didn't. Again, you'd be amazed how many times I haven't watched what goes on in the ring when I'm backstage. Usually, because I spent most of my time partying backstage. But no, I heard about it, and from what I hear, it was just because Brian Blue Meanie's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's the last guy that would deserve that on any level because he's not a big mouth.
Right.
You know, he's not one of those kids that. You know, he's a super nice guy, so I felt real bad for him, you know. But that's who John was. John was and still is a bully. He intimidates, you know.
Okay, well, here's sort of an internet rumor that maybe you could finally confirm or disconfirm. Now, I heard when he shot on him, he called out for help, and he's like, "Help! He's shooting on me!" And the Sandman jumped up and like tried to choke him with the kendo stick, and Dreamer and Richards started to, beat the hell out of his body for a second, so the Blue Meanie could get away. So after the fact, he was in the locker room and he went to confront Sandman, and he's like, "Was it you who choked me with the kendo stick?" And Sandman was like, "No, I think it was Cena who did it."
That's phenomenal. I haven't heard that one, but that's probably good. Yeah, Sandman would definitely do that.
And like Cena was giving interviews at the time, and Bradshaw just gave a look like, "What?"
I wouldn't doubt that one happened at all. That's funny. That's really funny.
Right. Right, that's like a scene in a movie or something.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
So, now, just to move things up a little bit, what are your opinion about outlaw promotions?
About what promotions?
What are your opinion about the outlaw wrestling promotions? Do you think they have a place or don't have a place?
I certainly think they have a place. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think right now, there's so many great wrestling promotions right now. It's a great opportunity and time to be a good indie wrestler and to get some opportunities to make a name for yourself.
Okay.
With social media and the way there are so many different platforms to provide their brand and to get it out there. There are tons all over the world, especially in the UK. So, and of course over here in the U.S. So, yeah, man, right now is a really exciting time to be an indie wrestler. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that. Do you think like the indies could make like a possible comeback to like the days of the territory, like like back in the 60s and 70s, like to get on like the regional like TV level like they once were? Because you remember how there was like Calgary and then Mid South and Smoky Mountain and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I certainly think they could do something like that, and it's a shame that more people haven't tried, because I think that's certainly a place that wrestling, if they want to be a viable competition to Vince McMahon, I think that is the next legitimate step, is to work with one another. But usually when that happens, man, everybody's federation or organization is bigger than this one, and then their guys don't want to do the job, and a lot of politics go involved. So I don't see it ever happening.
Okay.
But I think it would be great for all of the business.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And last but finally not least, we're going to shift gears completely. What marriage advice would you offer for people? Because you've been married for quite a long time, all while being in the business, 3 great kids. How did you do it?
You're gonna have to ask that question one more time, dude. You were breaking up the entire time. That's why I'm on a landline, because my cell service sucks. One more time.
Right. My bad. Okay. What marriage advice would you offer people? You've been married a long time, all while being in the business.
Same thing, dude. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I said, what marriage advice could you offer?
Oh, what marriage advice?
Yes, because you've been married a long time.
For a long time.
All while being in the business, 3 great kids. How did you do it?
Wow. I got married in 1997.
Okay.
So we're going on 22 years this year.
Okay.
Wow, man, it's a rarity. It's very rare. It's something I'm very proud of. Although my wife did work for ECW on a very limited scale for 3 years doing merchandise, man. For the most part, she wasn't a mark. There was no social media. So really, I was on the road. I was taking care of what I had to take care of. And when I came home, I devoted all my time and energy to her. But marriage is hard no matter what. And then you put in the rigors of professional wrestling, man. It's just proof.
Okay.
It's just very, very, very hard. And never did anyone in the business, believe me.
Right. Now,
absolutely.
Now, that also being said, are your kids going to eventually follow in their father's footsteps? Or?
Oh, hell to the no.
No?
Never.
No?
None of them like it. No, they barely put me over.
Right.
So, absolutely not. No, never.
Right, okay. All right, Justin, well, it's been really good having you on, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on, and we'll be having you on again very soon for, again, the follow-up to the follow-up.
Absolutely, and the next time we'll have a lot to talk about, because hopefully the release of the documentary Credible will be coming out, and I got it's amazing. I'm not trying to plug it, because really there's nothing to plug other than a teaser trailer, but I talked to guys from all walks of life. The actor Tom Sizemore from Black Hawk Down, he Saving Private Ryan,
right.
All those other guys. He's had issues with addiction. He's going to be in the documentary.
No kidding.
I just today asked my friend, comedian Judah Freelander from 30 Rock, and he does stand up. I'm sure you know him. He wears the world champ hat. He's going to be in the documentary as well. So Scott Hall, Jake Roberts, DDP.
Oh wow.
Shane Douglas. Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's not going to be a wrestling story. It's going to be a guy who happens to be a wrestler caught up into alcoholism and addiction. So it promises to be great, and you'll be the first one to see it when I have it finished, and we'll be on the show talking about it, buddy.
Of course. All right, Justin, we'll talk to you real soon.
I'll give you exclusive rights, put it that way.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's really nice of you. Thanks, man. All right, Justin, we'll talk to you real soon, man.
All right, brother. You have a great day, and I will be talking to you shortly. Thank you so much, guys, and thanks for listening. Take care.
All right, bye now.
Alright, everybody, and there you have it. Just incredible. He has a documentary coming out, he's got a booking coming out, and sounds like he's doing a lot better. And we're all very happy for him here at Cable Guy TV. So, this is Cable Guy, signing out of another edition of C.G.Radio. I will see you soon, and let's all be nice to each other out there.